So I am a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My name is Haifaa Younis. I am an OBGYN by profession. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed me with studying Islamic studies and memorized his book, Walillahi alhamdu wal minna. And this is one of the toughest topics, the most common questions I get before Ramadan, before Hajj. Like before Ramadan, I would love to have a woman send me a question saying, how do I get closer to Allah in Ramadan? No, the question is, can I fast, can I not fast? I just saw the blood 1 minute before Maghrib, is my fasting is okay? You know, the usual. Alhamdulillah, I look at it positively, that this is a way that you all, or that woman and everybody else wants to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I want you to move. And this is what I'm going to try to share with you this weekend. It's not only this topic, but we're going to try to move. I was sharing this with some of the beautiful sisters I met for lunch. It's how to move from the traditional way of learning, we women, how we were taught, to moving to the next step as servants of Allah, as a woman who serves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you need to start feeling this, and inshallah Allah will put for you this. So here you go. This is, I have to put, this one, the staff at Jannah Institute put this. So there's a Jannah Institute, which is an Islamic institute, woman for women. And alhamdulillah, we just finished this course, but just before Ramadan was the highest number of students registered in a course I have given, which made me really good. So a woman really wants to learn. So if I can kindly ask you not to share these slides. If there's a question or something, I will be more than happy to do that. And then because there is a project behind this class and behind these slides, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I ask you all to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it happen. Ya Rabbi Ameen. So let's start. Bismillah. Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Allahumma allimna ma yanfa'una wanfa'na bima 'allamtana innaka sami'un mujibud du'a. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min 'ilmin la yanfa' وقلب لا يخشع ونفس لا تشبع ومن دعاء لا يسمع ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. So I want you all to remember this dua, and I always say this dua. And there is a beautiful hadith of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. And I in every slide where there's a hadith or there is a verse in the Qur'an, you will see the source. And learn this as women, let alone women of knowledge, let alone, most of you, I was told, you're teachers. So it doesn't befit you to say, قال الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام. What is the source? Where is it? Let alone the verse from the Qur'an. Difficult in the beginning, but Allah will make it easy. So I put for you all the sources. Okay, and this is a dua Rasul عليه الصلاة والسلام asked Allah for himself. What about you and me? Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam is asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from a knowledge that is not beneficial. What is a knowledge that is not beneficial? For those of you who don't know me, I do not speak alone. You have to talk to me. Otherwise you all will sleep and start looking at your phones. So what is a beneficial knowledge and not a beneficial knowledge? So ilmun la yanfa. He asked Allah to protect him from a knowledge that is not beneficial. What is that? Yes. Can you speak up? I have 3 issues. Distance, mask, fan. So may Allah make it easy for me. And you have no mic. So can you, say it. I think I heard you, but I just want to make sure everyone. So the knowledge that is, can't hear you. So the knowledge that will not lead you to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, So you worship Allah properly. Okay. So and this is a good question for everybody. Can being a physician or studying medicine is beneficial knowledge? You all said yes. Why? She just said, she gave you the definition, the total. She told you a knowledge that will bring me close to Allah. And I immediately asked you, studying medicine is a beneficial knowledge? You all said yes. Why? How many physicians know Allah? How many physicians doesn't know Allah? So what is the right answer? It's not a yes or no. I'm giving you a clue. Huh? Exactly. Before what you do, but that's very good, is why are you studying it? And what are you doing with it? Even Islamic studies. I asked some of the girls when I met this for the lunch. I was like, why do you want to study Islamic studies? So you will be called Sheikha? So the masjid will hire you as a female scholar resident? That's not beneficial. That's for dunya. This will be haba'an manthura on Day of Judgment. Allah will say, you didn't do this for me. You know the hadith of, the meaning of, where the three people, Allah will ask them on the Day of Judgment? Right? You know the shaheed, the martyr. And Allah said, you didn't do this for me. The knowledgeable, you didn't do this for me. The hafiz of the Qur'an, you didn't do this for me. So people will say you're a hafiz. So always renew, number one, visit your niyyah. Write this down in everything you do, not only in classes. Why do you want to get married? Why do you want to have children? Why do you want to travel? Why do you want to cut your hair? Honestly, why do you want to take a shower? Don't say just because everybody does it, I like it. Never say this. There's no niyyah. There's no reward. Learn to change your daily actions to act of worship. That's how you move from ordinary to being a servant of Allah. Why you are here? To learn. Alhamdulillah, of course. But why do you want to learn? Why do you want to learn? I'm asking, anybody can answer me. Why do you want to learn? This topic, not in general. This topic, why? To please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. True, but there is more to it. Specifically this topic. It's going to come in the slides. Yes. I didn't hear well, please forgive me. Yeah, so yes, you want to have the right knowledge about this topic. Why? You're absolutely right. Why? Exactly. Exactly. How do I know how to worship Allah? How do I know not to fast in Ramadan in that day or that time? Right? And it's going to come in the slide. So always revisit your niyyah. If you didn't learn anything in this coming weekend, except what I just said, khayrun kathir, you've learned a lot. Why do you cook for your family? Well, children are hungry. That's not for Allah. Why did you cook macaroni and cheese? Well, my children loves it. That's not for Allah. Well, my children loves it. But you have to find a niyyah to please Allah. What are you going to do? You're cooking for your children because they love it. Burger, fries. But how do you change it to please Allah? Huh? Yeah, but how? In this scenario, how? Yes. But fries is not healthy food, but they love it. I'm glad you're thinking. When you give them fries, are they going to be happy? Mom, I love you, they kiss you. أدخلتِ السرور في قلب المسلم. You made a Muslim happy. That's an act of worship. So learn this and keep asking Allah to show you. It's very easy. Later on, in the beginning, you have to keep reminding yourself. Any job you do, whatever your profession, I was taught this, first things I was taught. Every time you open a door to see a patient, say, Ya Allah, this is for you. So the patient pleased and she thank you, Alhamdulillah. If she didn't, Alhamdulillah, because he did it for Allah. So you're here today to learn. Number one, I can give you 10, 20 niyyahs for why you're here. But number one, we will say, seeking knowledge. And that's something pleasing Allah. Number two, to worship Allah properly. How do I know? Learn to. Number three, يَعْمُرُ مَسَاجِدَ Allah. You're in the masjid. Look at this beautiful number. And Allah said this in Surah At-Tawbah. Who are the best? Those who flourish the masajid of Allah. Number four, I can teach my daughter. So my daughter can worship Allah in the right way. Five, I meet these beautiful people. And the best company you are in is the company of the righteous people. Six, when you sit and learn about Allah, what do you get? Who comes around you? Angels, you all know that. Remind yourself. Literally, remind yourself in every step. When I put my foot in the plane, this is, by the way, my first trip since the COVID. Before the COVID, I used to live in the planes. Like I used to joke with my family, I was like, I live in the sky more than I live on earth. But I didn't. This is my first one. And when I put my foot in the plane, leaving St. Louis, I said, Ya Allah, this is for you. You taught me this. I want all your servants to learn this so they worship you correctly. Done. If I died in the plane, Allah knows why I'm here. So learn this, extremely important. Teachers, mothers, whatever profession you have, whatever decision you're taking in your life, first question has to be, why? And never answer, I like it. That's your nafs. It has to be something to please Allah. And if there is no reason to please Allah, don't do it. Let alone if it doesn't please Allah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Now, how do I learn? How do I learn? This is, anybody hafiz here from the Qur'an? Any hafizah in this room? I love to tease the hafizah, but that's okay. I gave you the clue anyway, it's in there. This is the last page of Surah Yusuf. After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala covered all the story of Sayyidina Yusuf, the last page is Allah talking to Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, and that's the statement. قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي. Say, is it moving? Remember I told you, is it moving? Next slide. Who do I give to? Assalamu alaikum. I didn't see you now. So next slide, please. Already, please remind me. If I say something, you don't see it. Say, Sister Haifaa, next slide. طيب? Yes? Okay. This is a challenge, but Allah will remind us for all these difficulties. So, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي. Say, this is my path. This is a Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. قُل in the Qur'an, when you read قُل, say, meaning Allah telling the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam to say, this is my path. أدعو إلى Allah. I call to Allah. How? على بصيرة. Knowledge. And I'm saying this specifically to women. Don't you give a fatwa. Don't you say something you don't know. This is serious. It's way more serious than you give a recipe of something that is not correct. I had someone on Friday, actually last Tuesday, texted me, and I couldn't believe the question, let alone the fatwa. She said, Sister Haifaa, I found out I've been doing this all my life wrong. I was like, subhanallah, what were you doing? She said, Sister Haifaa, a woman just told me before I go to Jumu'ah, listen to this. Before I go to Jumu'ah, I have to pray 4 fard at home. I have to pray 4 ruk'at of dhuhr before I go for Jumu'ah. And I was wrong all my life because I never prayed dhuhr in my life. Which one is right? Uh-oh. Which one is right? Don't be scared. Say, I don't know. Which one is right? You have to pray 4 before Jumu'ah? You have to pray just Jumu'ah? So why didn't you answer me? Don't be scared. This is absolutely, I was like, who told you this? She said, the sister of knowledge. I was like, subhanallah. Absolutely. Jumu'ah salah replace dhuhr. If you pray it in the masjid with the imam. So, ala basira. Ala basira. Don't answer. WhatsApp group, now these days Telegram groups, don't answer. Say la a'lam. Imam Malik used to say the following. Man qala la a'lam faqad afta. The person who say, I don't know, gave the right answer. Unless you really know it. I mean, like, what is the last surah in the Qur'an? Of course, you're going to answer. I hope you know. Inshallah. Next, please. Here you go. Why you are learning. Right? It is of the most important obligation. Look at the words. This is fiqh. Any lawyer in this room? No lawyer? Nobody studying law? Fiqh. When you study fiqh, you're studying like law. Every word counts. So when I say obligation, I mean something. When I say haram, it means something. When I say it's okay, I mean something. It's not like we speak. Every word has consequences. So it's of the most important obligation. Look at this. to know the rulings of the Lord of the worlds so you can worship Him correctly. That's how it is. So imagine if you come to this masjid to pray Jumu'ah and you don't have wudu. Is your salah valid? Why not? Why not? Answer me. One person loud. I can't hear you. Yeah, you don't have wudu and you said, Khalas, Allahu Akbar. Why not? You prayed. You did the same movement. You didn't answer correctly, but have correctly. She said to be clean is a prerequisite. The prerequisite is correct, the clean is not correct. Not proper. So what is the proper word? At-tahara is not a proper word. It's part of it. Yes, don't assume. Wudu is a prerequisition for the validity of salah. So a non-Muslim comes in, alhamdulillah, and she's praying with you. Is her salah valid? Why not? She did wudu. She's not a Muslim and so she's not a Muslim, true. And did you see what I'm teasing you? No. What's one of the prerequisitions? Muslimun balighun aqil. You studied fiqh, right? I was told. What's wrong? What happened to it? Traveled, went back home? So yes, so prerequisition. So this is what it is. Obligations to know, so you know how to worship Allah properly. Properly, ladies, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-jahl, ignorance is not an excuse. When I and you will stand in front of Allah, are we going to have a private meeting with Allah? Is any of us will have a private meeting with Allah on Day of Judgment? Each one of us, individually. وَكُلُّهُمْ آتِيهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَرْدًا. Each one will come alone, meeting Allah. He's going to ask me, why didn't you know, Ya Haifaa? What do I say? There was no internet? I didn't know English? The Qur'an was not translated? What is my excuse? Did you get my point? So obligation to learn so you can worship Allah properly. Next one, please. Now, why to study the ruling of menstruation? That's your niyyah. That will explain it, right? And by the way, it's called menstruation and postnatal bleeding, we call it. So after delivery. Menstruation, this is an Imam al-Darumi. And he says, menstruation is a lost branch of knowledge. No book was authored to deal with it sufficiently. It's so true. There is no English book talk about this in detail. Everything I'm sharing with you is translated. I translated it because there is nothing in English. There's just a small one. There's 3 books, very small. One is in the Hanafi book, and the other 2 very small, very, very basic. There isn't. And now I'm going to tell you why. So basically, it's a lost branch. Imam Ahmad said the following. He said, not me. I stayed 9 years learning the knowledge of menstruation. Imam Ahmad, 9 years. Why? I'll come to you. Don't be too sad. Don't be shocked. Alhamdulillah. Next one, please. May Allah reward you. The branch of knowledge. This is Imam Ibn Nujaym. How many of you here are Hanafi? Oh, not that many. What is the rest? Shafi'i, show me. MashaAllah. And Maliki. MashaAllah. No Hanbali here? Tabarakallah. This is the first group. Usually I get 99.9 Hanafi. Alhamdulillah. So this is why I usually cover the 4 school of thoughts. So anyway, Imam Ibn Nujaym is a famous Hanafi scholar. He said the branch of knowledge becomes so important when it is harmful not to know. Did you get the point? So when I don't know, let's say I don't know zakah ruling, but I don't work, I don't have money. It's not a big deal. But if I have money and I don't know anything about zakah, I'm in big trouble. So learning about zakah becomes important, right? Now, in case you will say, and this may come to your mind, some of you, was like, I'm menopause, why do I need to learn about this? I had friends who came to us like, I'm menopause, Sister Haifaa. Why do I want to learn this? What do you think my answer was? I'm sorry, one person. Yes. Can't hear you. I love to hear you. Okay, so she said somebody around may need. No, I answered even more. So if you see bleeding today, what are you going to do? Are you going to pray or not pray? She looked at me and says, I said, then you need to study it. And by the way, you all answered wrong. Yeah, don't you ever answer right away. I'll show you how at the end you will think zillion times before you give a yes answer or a right answer. There's always, it depends. And you need more information, so be careful. So here you go. Imam Ibn Nujaym says, it's so important to learn this. It's not boring, it's difficult. Yes, boring could be, but I need to learn this because that's my worship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here you go. Ibn Qudama is a Hanbali, says the rules that depend on menstruation, there are rules. There are rules depend on menstruation? There are rules. Yes or no? Don't look at the slide, it's not in the slide. That's tomorrow you will learn. Is there rules related to menstruation? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. If you said yes, you're right. Tell me. Hajj and Umrah. The sister thought about the thing that we're not going to do this year. Ya Rabbi, Ameen. Maybe Allah will invite us. Right? Only 60,000 people are allowed this year for Hajj. Who are these from all over the world? Who are these? Subhanallah. So why do I have to learn? Why there is rules. What is the number one ruling? Number one ruling, daily. Salah. My salah. Right? So there is rules depend on it. Now, because of and it's in there, because of the numerous Sharia rulings related to menstruation, learning rulings related to menstruation, it's actually, by the way, it's a fardu ayn. You know what's fardu ayn? Did they teach you fardu ayn, fard kifaya? Collective duty and individual duty? Menstruation knowledge is collective or it is individual? It's individual. You have to know it because it's related to you. And not every community has, and you don't have an access in every community or every day and every minute to somebody who gives you the ruling. طيب? Next one, please. Okay, so here we go again. Obligation, fardu ayn. Please learn it. And your children, your daughter will ask you, especially if you are somebody, let's say you're a student, mashallah, in the seminary, your relatives may think you know, and they will come to ask you. If you need to answer, you need to know the right answer. So it is fardu ayn. Next one, please. طيب. Why it is so difficult? And why Imam Ahmad stayed 9 years, and Imam Ibn Nujaym tells you, Imam al-Darimi told you it's a lost branch, because there isn't a verse in the Qur'an except the one you see it on your screen. That is it. Nothing in the Qur'an. How many verses in the Qur'an? I can't hear. 6,000? I heard the 6,000, I heard the 3,000, and then? You are very close, exactly. So more than 6,000 verses in the Qur'an talks about everything. There is only one at all, only one categorically. There is no mention of it later on in a different way, in a different word. That is it. ويسألونك عن المحيض قل هو أذن فاعتزلوا النساء في المحيض ولا تقربوهن حتى يطهرن فإذا تطهرن فأتوهن من حيث أمركم الله إن الله يحب التوابين ويحب المتطهرين. You have it in Surah Baqarah 222. You should never forget this. It's very unique number. It's the surah chapter is 2 and the verse is 222. Right? That's it. There's nothing else. What? Let's see. I want your brain with me. Look at the verse. What other thing that catch your eyes in the verse related to women? Yes. I can't hear you. هو كله طهارة بس in the verse. I can't hear you. Exactly. Ada. This is what I tell all my patients when they have pain before the period, right? Dysmenorrhea, we call it. Sometimes it's really bad. I mean, especially young girls, they suffer. And I said, Subhanallah, Allah said it. And you know what's Ada? It's not pain only. Ada, it's harm. So it's pain, it's discomfort, and the discomfort can be emotional, it can be physical, true or false. We all know this, you all have went through it. Maybe every month, maybe once in your lifetime. Ada, and what did Allah say? Stay away. فَاعْتَزِلُوا النِّسَاء. This is related to, we'll come to it later on. So once you think of menstruation, right, it is something that is not very pleasure, it's not fun. Of course, shaitan is going to come and make you ask this question. So why do I have to have it? If it's pain. Why did Allah give this to me? May Allah forgive us. But these days we question everything. Why? Have you had somebody ask you this question? Lucky you. Why? Everybody asks these days why. Why? Why does Allah give me menstruation? And He said it's pain and it's harm. I can't hear you. La, don't you say it's ibtila. She said it's a test. Don't say that. People will really, you have to be very careful when you come to the woman. What is the answer, the beautiful answer? I can't hear you. Allah is Hakim, always there's a wisdom. What is the wisdom? I can't hear you. More. Can't hear you with the mask. Brings you closer to Allah. Tell this to a 15-year-old who has really pain throwing up when she's in the emergency room. You're getting close to it. What honor menstruation bring? I gave you a clue. How you will become a mother if you don't have menstruation? You will not be able to get pregnant unless you have menstruation. That's the hikmah. That's the hikmah. Remember this, always look. You all answered very well, alhamdulillah, Rabbi. But there is always a hikmah. And I ask Allah, what Allah said in Surah Baqarah? يُؤْتِي الْحِكْمَةَ مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَمَنْ يُؤْتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فَقَدْ أُوتِيَ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Allah gives wisdom to whom He wills. And those who are given wisdom have been given a lot of khair. So ask Allah, because this is what my goal in this class is, not only to teach you theory, reality. People will ask you these questions. Young girls these days, everything they question. From the presence of Allah to everything else. To why I am praying in the back. Why cannot I be in the front and I be in the place of Sheikh Yasin? Have you heard that already? Exactly. You need to get ready. And don't get offended, don't get upset. But this is how you look at it. Do you want to be a mother? And what did the Rasul ﷺ said about the mother? Ummak thumma ummak thumma ummak. Your mother, your mother, your mother. Then your father. How you become a mother? No menstruation, no childbirth. Period. No pain, no gain. That applies on this one. I always tell this to patients when they are having a baby. It's painful. Alhamdulillah, there's epidural these days. But I would say, you know what? The most beautiful pain you will ever have. Once you see that baby, everything is gone. And you will come back again next year and I will deliver you. So, I'm going to try to bring you to everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make me remember. So, here you go. That's the only verse in the Qur'an. Next one. This is a beautiful hadith. Oh, yes. A beautiful hadith. Of course, it's Sayyida Aisha. So this is the scenario of this hadith by the time you read it. She was with the Rasul ﷺ. How many times the Rasul ﷺ performed Hajj? One, only, once. And who he took with him from his wives? Only? You're cheating because you're reading the hadith. Did he take other wives or only Sayyida Aisha? من قال لا أعلم فقد أفتى. Who says I don't know gave the right answer. So anybody knows. Did he take only Sayyida Aisha? He took more? All of them? None? Yes. All of them. It's not I think you're right. Why? Because there's a ruling, you all have done it. How many of you have been to Umrah or Hajj? Alhamdulillah. How many of you have done more than one Umrah at the same time? You went to Masjid Aisha. Why? I have no idea. Everybody tells me go to Masjid Aisha and come back. Why? Because of this. And because he took his other wives with him. So let's go to this first. So here you go. They were all left. They came to a place called Saraf. Saraf is like few miles from Mecca. So imagine this. You're so excited. You paid $10,000 to Dar es Salaam and you are going to go to Mecca, left Medina, and boom, you had your period. And I have seen this scenario. I cannot tell you the reactions of the woman. My immediate answer is, MashaAllah, you're like Sayyida Aisha. She looks at me and said, Wallahi, you're like Sayyida Aisha. That's exactly what happened to her. They came to Saraf, few miles from Mecca, and she starts crying. And the Rasul looked at alayhi salatu wasalam. He entered to the room and he found her crying. Immediately he said, Anafasti, you have your period? And she said, yes. What did he say? That's the other question, the answer. This is something Allah decreed on the woman of the daughters of Adam. I have no control over it. And if you don't get your cycle by 16 or 17, everybody will get worried. Right? Whether the girl or the mother. So this is something. So he said to her, this is something Allah decreed on the daughters of Adam. Do like everyone else does, except don't do tawaf. We'll come to this later, inshallah, I think tomorrow, bi'idhnillah. Okay, I want you to memorize this slide like you know your name. Because this is going to solve the issue of spotting. I spot before the cycle. Is it I see blood after the cycle. Is it? Do I pray? Do I fast? Do I go for Hajj? Do I go for Tawaf? So what is the word Hayd mean?